conference room smelled faintly of stale coffee and ambition. I sat at the polished oak table, my laptop open, its screen reflecting the fluorescent lights above. My heart raced, but my face stayed steady. For months, I'd been the one keeping this sinking ship of a marketing firm afloat, rebranding a failing client portfolio into a $150 million success story. Today was supposed to be my moment, a performance review turned celebration. But something felt wrong when I saw Derek lounging across from me, scrolling through his phone with that lazy grin. Derek, who barely showed up to meetings, who missed deadlines, who coasted on charm while I burned midnight oil to fix his messes. "Good to see you both," Miss Carver, our COO, said, striding in with her usual clipped efficiency. Her eyes flicked to me briefly. "Lila, your work on the Vanguard campaign was a game changer. You rebuilt their entire brand identity from scratch." I nodded, keeping my composure. "You turned a 20% client retention rate into 85%, she went on. "That's not just skill, that's alchemy." I allowed a small smile. I knew my worth. Every late-night strategy session, every scrapped logo, every pitch deck I'd rewritten at dawn, it had saved us. "Thank you," I said, voice even. Carver's gaze shifted to Derek. "And Derek, your energy has been a real asset." My stomach twisted. Energy? The guy who once submitted a client brief in Comic Sans? "Which is why," Carver continued, "we're promoting Derek to Head of Creative Strategy." The words hit like a slap. Head of Creative Strategy. My role, my vision, my campaigns. I blinked, forcing my voice to stay calm. "Derek's getting the promotion?" Carver raised a hand, like she'd rehearsed this. "Leela, you're phenomenal. But leadership is about presence, relatability. Derek has that spark clients love." Spark? I thought of the client emails I'd answered at 2 a.m., the ones Derek ignored. Business is about perception, Carver. With no timestamps and a similar length, approximately 3,000 words. The story follows a similar theme of workplace betrayal, personal triumph, and building something new, but with original characters, setting, and details. The conference room smelled faintly of stale coffee and ambition. I sat at the polished oak table, my laptop open, its screen reflecting the fluorescent lights above. My heart raced, but my face stayed steady. For months, I'd been the one keeping this sinking ship of a marketing firm afloat, rebranding a failing client portfolio into a $150 million success story. Today was supposed to be my moment, a performance review turned celebration. But something felt wrong when I saw Derek lounging across from me, scrolling through his phone with that lazy grin. Derek, who barely showed up to meetings, who missed deadlines, who coasted on charm, while I burned midnight oil to fix his messes. "Good to see you both," Miss Carver, our COO, said, striding in with her usual clipped efficiency. Her eyes flicked to me briefly. "Lila, your work on the Vanguard campaign was a game changer. You rebuilt their entire brand identity from scratch." I nodded, keeping my composure. "You turned a 20% client retention rate into 85%, she went on. "That's not just skill, that's alchemy." I allowed a small smile. I knew my worth. Every late-night strategy session, every scrapped logo, every pitch deck I'd rewritten at dawn, it had saved us. "Thank you," I said, voice even. Carver's gaze shifted to Derek. "And Derek, your energy has been a real asset." My stomach twisted. Energy? The guy who once submitted a client brief in Comic Sans? "Which is why," Carver continued, "we're promoting Derek to Head of Creative Strategy." The words hit like a slap. Head of Creative Strategy. My role, my vision, my campaigns. I blinked, forcing my voice to stay calm. Derek's getting the promotion? Carver raised a hand, like she'd rehearsed this. Lila, you're phenomenal, but leadership is about presence, relatability. Derek has that spark clients love. Spark? I thought of the client emails I'd answered at 2 a.m., the ones Derek ignored. Business is about perception, she said, unapologetic. Derek smirked, leaning back. No hard feelings, Lila. I'll still need your ideas, obviously. You're the brains. Then, Carver slid a $100 bill across the table. For your efforts, she said, a token of our gratitude. The room spun. $100 for turning a failing firm into an industry leader? $100 for my blood, sweat, and tears? I stared at the bill, then at Carver, then at Derek, who was already typing something on his phone, probably bragging. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I picked up the bill, folded it neatly, and tucked it into my pocket. Thank you, I said softly. Carver looked confused. You're not upset? He asked. I smiled. No. I'm just done. I stood, my heels clicking on the hardwood, and walked out. No drama, no speech. Just silence. They thought I'd sulk, keep working quietly while Derek took credit for my work. They were wrong. I didn't need their validation. I'd stayed quiet not out of weakness, but because I was planning. And the next day, everything changed. I arrived at the office early, the security guard raising an eyebrow. Didn't expect you today, Lila. I gave a small smile. Old habits. But I was there to see it one last time. The campaigns I built, the team I'd mentored, the legacy I'd created. When I stepped into my office, I saw boxes with my name scrawled on them. And there, at my desk, was Derek, feet up, sipping from a mug with his initials. He'd moved in like he owned the place. Hey, Lila, he said, barely looking up. Didn't think you'd show. I didn't answer, just walked in slowly, letting him feel the weight of my presence. He shifted uncomfortably. Just grabbing my stuff, I said, nodding at the boxes. Right, cool, he mumbled. No hard feelings, yeah? You're still on the team, just different role. I raised an eyebrow. Different role? He grinned. Yeah, Carver's got you on legacy projects. Updating old client files, that kind of thing. Should be chill. Chill. I just redefined the industry, and they wanted me sorting dusty archives. Sounds perfect, I said, my voice dry. He missed the sarcasm. As I carried my boxes down the hall, colleagues avoided my gaze. No one spoke. Funny how fast people forget the one who saved their jobs. My new desk was in a dim corner of the support wing, a wobbly chair and a monitor that flickered like it was on its last legs. I sat, staring at the chaos of cables and dust. But I wasn't angry. I was thinking. What they didn't know, not Carver, not Derek, not IT, was that the Vanguard campaign wasn't just a rebrand. It was a system, a proprietary marketing algorithm I'd built, blending AI-driven analytics with human creativity. The version they had was good, stored on their servers. But the real version, the one with predictive targeting and automated content optimization, was mine, locked on a private cloud I controlled. They had the demo, I had the masterpiece. While Derek gave some half-baked speech about new creative vibes, I opened my notebook and started sketching. Not designs, but a plan. If they didn't want me, fine, I wouldn't beg. But I wouldn't let them profit off my work while pretending I was invisible. They wanted a leader? I'd show them one, somewhere else. That afternoon, I sent 3 emails. Quiet, precise, deliberate. One to Nadia, our former head of analytics, who'd quit after Derek took credit for her data models. One to Marcus, a genius copywriter who'd left when his scripts were butchered by executive feedback. And one to Tara, a designer who'd seen my algorithm's potential and begged me to go rogue with it. No replies came right away, but I wasn't worried. Like me, they'd been dismissed, underestimated. We weren't victims. We were architects, waiting for the right blueprint. I looked out the window, the city skyline sharp against the dusk. The firm I'd saved was about to crumble. This time, I wouldn't catch it. I was building forward. By week's end, all three responded. Nadia, I'm in. Name the time. Marcus, been waiting for this. Let's do it. Tara, your algo's the future. Let's make it real. 3 messages, 3 allies. We met that Sunday in a dive bar's back booth. All jeans and coffee mugs, like college kids with a dream. But we were crafting a revolution. They screwed you over, Nadia said, stirring her drink. You didn't just save them, Lila. You made them untouchable. I shrugged. They paid me $100 and sent me to file old contracts. That's their call. Marcus laughed. Derek told me once, some people just look like they're in charge. Guess that's him now. Tara rolled her eyes. We're not here to rant, are we? No, I said, pulling out a folder. Inside was the plan. Not just the algorithm, but a business. A marketing platform with real-time audience prediction, dynamic content scaling, and eco-conscious branding options, all in a sleek, plug-and-play interface. Marcus whistled. You've been holding out. I nodded. I built the core before I joined the firm. The IP's mine. They got a stripped-down version, not this. Tara grinned. Then let's give the world what they don't deserve. We had no investors, no fancy office, just talent and grit. We worked from my apartment, then Marcus's basement. We shared a single server, cobbled from Tara's old gear. We coded, designed, and strategized through the night, surviving on takeout and ambition. Slowly, something incredible emerged. We called it Pulse, a marketing platform that didn't just react to trends, but shaped them, anticipating consumer needs before they arose. By month's end, we had a demo. By month 2, we landed our first client, a mid-sized retailer desperate to ditch their outdated ad software. They signed without blinking at our price. Pulse launched in week 8, boosting their engagement by 30% in days. But week 10 was the turning point. A trade article dropped. Vanguard Group loses key clients after marketing missteps. I recognized the names. Clients I'd onboarded. They were jumping ship, 2 already in talks with us. Derek had tweaked my algorithm, thinking he could optimize it. Instead, he broke the targeting logic, tanking ad performance across their network. They patched it, but the damage was done. At the firm, panic spread. Emails pinged, meetings multiplied, whispers of firing swirled. I sat at my sad little desk, sipping coffee, watching the chaos. They were fighting to save yesterday. We were building tomorrow. That night, at our makeshift office, Nadia finalized a pitch deck while Marcus debugged a new feature. I took a breath. Next week, we go big. Press release, demo video, full launch. Tara looked up. Bold. I nodded. Necessary. They need to see who they threw away. And I meant it. The firm hadn't just betrayed me. They'd underestimated me. That was their fatal mistake. Our press release hit like a bomb. Ex-employee behind Vanguard's $150 million turnaround launches game-changing startup. The story spread. Betrayal. Redemption. A woman handed $100 instead of a title, now rewriting the industry. Tech blogs, LinkedIn, news sites, they ate it up. By noon, our inbox overflowed. We need Pulse yesterday. Is it true you cut ad waste by 90%? Let's talk ASAP. Back at the firm, things shifted. Colleagues who'd ignored me started nodding, whispering, was it true? Was Leela the one who'd saved us? Why was she stuck in support? By afternoon, Derek called a meeting. He stood at the whiteboard, pale, tapping a marker. I sat in the back, silent. He avoided my eyes, but others didn't. They were piecing it together. Who'd built the campaigns? Who'd fixed the crises? Who'd carried the firm? Not Derek, me. That evening, Nadia booked a demo with Vanguard's biggest client, a retail giant moving 500,000 units weekly. Their CMO called personally. Heard you're behind Pulse. You're why we stayed with Vanguard so long. Now we're following you. This wasn't revenge. It was truth. Derek tried damage control. Client emails, a webinar where he babbled about proprietary strategies he didn't understand. Marcus, streaming it, snorted. He's clueless about the algo's core. Tara laughed. Too busy golfing with execs while we built the future. By day's end, 3 more clients left Vanguard. 2 came to us. The third was exploring options. Code for waiting on us. We doubled down. Nadia cut a product reel. Real metrics, real testimonials, real impact. It dropped Tuesday morning. By evening, 100,000 views. Then came Vanguard's investor call, meant to tout their record year. Instead, it imploded. Slides showed a 12% client loss. Revenue dipped despite market growth. Then the Q&A. Is it true Leela Kane built your campaigns? Why's she outperforming you now? Carver paused too long. Leela contributed, but the system's ours. Another question. So why's Pulse winning with less? Silence. The call cut short. By morning, Vanguard stock slid 7%. Nadia texted, "It started." I stared at my screen. New clients, press invites, partnership offers. Then at a photo from our first week. Tired, hopeful faces. We'd had nothing then. Now, we were the benchmark. The $100 bill sat in my drawer. A reminder, not of shame, but of clarity. They'd paid me $100 for their future. I was taking it back. By next quarter, Vanguard was hemorrhaging. Clients fled. Forums buzzed with complaints, glitchy ads, missed targets, downtime. My old support team drowned in tickets. Derek's swagger faded. Loose tie, forced smiles, shorter meetings. The final blow came Monday. Vanguard's top client, a global fashion brand, switched to Pulse. They didn't wait for a pitch. We want the real deal, their CEO told Nadia. We want Leela. That deal was worth $20 million a year. It buried Vanguard. Inside, chaos reigned. Carver vanished. Rumors said she'd resign. The board scrambled, clueless how they'd lost everything so fast. Every failure traced back to that $100 bill. Then an anonymous email. They want to meet. I forwarded it to Nadia. Her reply, make them beg. The next day, an official invite from Carver. Subject, partnership opportunity. Location, Pulse HQ. Attendees, Carver, Derek. Friday arrived. I wore a tailored navy suit. Sharp, no frills. Power doesn't need flash. Carver looked drained. Derek twitchy. Our boardroom gleamed. Pulse's logo bold on the wall. Leela, Carver started. Thanks for this. I nodded. You asked. She leaned in. We see synergy. Tech sharing, maybe licensing. Derek jumped in. Pulse is hot, but Vanguard's got clout, infrastructure. Let's team up. I cut in. You're losing clients daily. Your last campaign tanked, and 4 majors cited you for breaches. Derek flinched. Carver tried again. We're offering a C-suite role. Full creative control. Top pay, equity. I tilted my head. So I fix your mess while you take the glory? Again? Carver shook her head. No, this is different. I leaned forward. You're here because you thought I'd fade. You bet wrong. You don't get a second chance to bury me. Silence. I slid a folder across. This is an acquisition offer. Pulse buys Vanguard's assets, patents, tech. You exit quietly or the market finishes you. Derek gaped. You're buying us? I smiled. I'm offering a dignified end. Carver exhaled. I'll present it to the board. As they left, Derek muttered, You're really erasing us? I looked at him. You didn't build this. I did. I'm just taking it back. The deal closed quietly. No fanfare, just a filing. Pulse acquires Vanguard's assets and IP. One paragraph ended an era. Vanguard dissolved, its tech shelved, replaced by Pulse, now the industry's gold standard. Our market share hit 55%, then 60%. From scrappy startup to titan in months. It wasn't just victory, it was proof. I hadn't just proved them wrong. I'd proved myself right. Weeks later, I was reviewing a $100 million expansion plan. My assistant buzzed. Visitor. Says it's your mom. My chest tightened. We hadn't spoken in a year, not since she'd called my career a risky bet. She'd seen the news. In the lobby, she stood, same sharp posture, but softer somehow. Leela, she said quietly. I nodded. Mom. A pause. I read about Vanguard. About you. It's done, I said. She looked away, then back. You were always tougher than I thought. I should have seen it. Your dad did. Her voice wavered. He'd passed a year ago. Never saw my win. He'd be proud, she added. I exhaled. Why are you here? She shifted. To say I was wrong. Success doesn't need to look like I thought. You didn't need me. You never did. I studied her. The woman who'd taught me discipline but never dreamed I'd lead. Now, she was here, apologizing. Thank you, I said. She blinked, expecting more. But I was done proving points. I built something real, not because of her, but despite her. I've got a big rollout, I said, turning. I'll call, she nodded. I'd like that. The next day, Pulse hosted its first global summit. Industry leaders packed the hall. I took the stage, lights warm, eyes on me. No nerves. I'd earned this. At my keynote's end, I paused. One last thing, I said. When they underestimate you, let them. When they toss you $100 and call it thanks, take it. Not as payment, but as proof. Proof they don't see you. So build something they can't ignore. And when they finally see you standing on their ruins, just smile. And keep building. The crowd roared. I stepped off, feeling the shift. This wasn't the end. It was the start of a legacy forged not in spite, but in strength. A woman who took $100 and built an empire.